Welcome to Quality Assurance Surveillance Plans Training. To ensure quality contract performance and to ensure performance objectives are performed to the standards established in the contract, requiring activities nominate and contracting officers appoint quality assurance inspectors called contracting officer representatives, or CORs. CORs have a challenging job because there's normally only one primary COR per contract, and that COR is usually responsible for monitoring multiple contracts. If the COR is expected to verify quality performance on multiple contracts with multiple performance objectives and with multiple performance standards, they will need a plan. That's where a Quality Assurance Surveillance Plan, or QASP, comes into play. What is a QASP, and what does a QASP do? A QASP provides a systematic methodology, or a routine, of planning, scheduling, and conducting quality assurance surveillances. The QASP describes how the agency will survey, observe, test, sample, evaluate, and document the contractor's performance in meeting critical performance standards identified in the PWS. The overall purpose of the QASP is to ensure the government receives quality performance in products from the contractor that meets or exceeds the standards established in the contract. Unlike the PWS, the QASP is not actually part of the contract. It's a separate document that establishes the performance objectives, performance standards, and acceptable quality levels, and it describes how the government will inspect and report the findings and results of quality assurance surveillances. The QASP ensures that the contracting officer, the COR, the requiring activity, and the contractor are all aware of the contractor's quality standards and inspection methodologies. The contents of a QASP may vary depending on the size, scope, and complexity of a requirement, but should generally contain at least 6 sections. The introduction includes, at minimum, a basic description of the requirement, the purpose of the QASP, and the objective of the QASP. The roles and responsibilities of key personnel. This includes the list of the key personnel by name and position and details what their responsibilities are relating to monitoring and oversight of the contractor's performance. The procedures explain the sequence of events leading up to and following contract surveillance. Also, how past performance information is captured and documented should also be described in this section. The performance requirement summary, including the performance objectives, performance standards, acceptable quality levels, and the methods of surveillance goes here. The unsuccessful performance section describes solutions and remedies for any contractor performance discrepancies. If there are performance discrepancies, how the COR and/or contracting officer will handle requests for the contractor to reperform services or correct non-conforming aspects of performance is addressed here. These requests should be at no additional cost to the government. In cases where reperformance of non-conforming services is not possible, reductions in the contract price may be necessary. With that said, contracting officers should seek to have services reperformed whenever possible. The goal of the unsuccessful performance section of the QASP is to ensure that the government clearly communicates they are not responsible to pay for services that don't meet the performance standards, nor does the government pay for services that were not rendered. And the 6th section of a standard QASP details the surveillance documents to be used. The documents that the COR uses to conduct and report quality assurance inspections include, but are not limited to, performance assessment reports, corrective assessment reports, or contract discrepancy reports, and monthly COR reports. It's valuable to add these document templates in the QASP so all parties can see and are aware of the actual documents that will be used before contract performance begins. In summary, the QASP is a living document that can and, in many cases, should be updated as the contract's requirements or the government's contract surveillance needs change over the period of the contract's performance. Again, the purpose of the QASP is to describe how the contractor's performance will be measured and assessed against the performance standards. Establishing performance standards and methods of surveillance should incentivize the contractor to perform efficiently and effectively, not only so that they can receive positive incentives such as maximizing profits, exercised options, possibly reduced contract surveillances, and/or mutually respectful relationships with the government, but to also avoid negative incentives such as expensive contract reperformance efforts, negative past performance reports, and/or losing out on future business opportunities. The QASP and PWS should be written as close to the same time as possible in order to help them match and complement each other.